Now at 6 o'clock, the latest impact of the government shutdown, a cut down on flights at some of the busiest airports in the country, including here in Portland, just before the Thanksgiving travel rush. We'll have a live report from the airport coming up.
And one local artist is using his skills to help people struggling during the government shutdown. The project, he's planning to drum up donations of pet food and other supplies.
We're also live this morning at the Expo Center for the annual Portland Metro RV Dealers Fall RV Show. We're going to play a little game of Price is Right as we check out some of the biggest and fanciest RVs around. That report coming up in just a few minutes as we kick off the 6 o'clock hour of Sunrise right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Thursday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Chris McGinnis and Rod Hill also here. So, Rod, I know you like to play Price is Right game at the RV show, but you do have to handle the forecast.
Oh, okay. All right, let's get to that. This is good news. Yesterday, we tracked lightning much of the day that was offshore in the morning and then came in early afternoon to the north coast. And we still had strikes even overnight up around Astoria and Long Beach. So this kind of pale green area is the possible region for convection and thunderstorm activity today. It does still include the northern half of Clatsop County, so Astoria up into Pacific County and Long Beach. But the overall risk for any of these storms being strong quite a bit lower than 24 hours ago, so good news there. No lightning being detected right now. We obviously have a wet morning. Heaviest rain is for the time being pushed east of Portland, but we do have light to moderate rain still falling, and that is fresh snow in the parking lot up at Timberline Lodge. Temperature 32 degrees. Cascade passes continue to be wet. No issues for travel over the Cascade Pass level today. There's the wet city from the Wells Fargo building. It's another mild morning. We are generally setting at about 50. It'll be 50, 52 out the door this morning. Just rain at times, so full rain gear. A noticeable breezy south wind, yes, but overall not as windy as it was yesterday, and temperatures in the 50s to about 60 degrees. Here's Chris.
Rod, thank you for that. We pick it up with a traffic alert in the Vista Ridge Tunnel. There you go, eastbound Highway 26. It looks like we've got maybe 3 or 4 cars tangled up in a fender bender here. The left lane is blocked right now, and you can see the traffic is having to kind of navigate to get around that. We'll switch gears real quick. I can show you things are starting to back up actually pretty quickly on the inbound Vista Ridge Tunnel. There's the lineup out past the Jefferson exit ramp right now. So watch yourself. Obviously on the roads, you can see plenty of road spray out there. That's the westbound side of the freeway on the left-hand side of your screen. It's just the vapor trails coming off the cars there. Same story up near the Expo Center. So water on the roads this morning and our first significant trouble spot. We'll keep you posted.
All right, thank you, Chris. We want to get back to that breaking news we've been talking about this morning from Northeast Portland. Police say they had to use force to stop a man who was running around naked and carrying a gun in the Lloyd district. Calls about the man came in just before 9:45 last night. Officers say they searched the area and found him near Northeast Grand and Multnomah Street.
That's when police say that they heard a gunshot and say that the man took off running. One officer hit the suspect with a patrol vehicle, knocking him to the ground, but then he got back up and kept running. So this is video of the scene from earlier this morning. Officers say after the man got back up, they then used a taser to take him into custody. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries and remains in police custody this morning. Investigators say they did recover a handgun at the scene. The officer who struck the man with the vehicle is on paid administrative leave, which is standard policy.
Just 3 weeks away from the Thanksgiving travel rush, and the FAA and Department of Transportation announced they're cutting down on flights all across the country because of the government shutdown.
They say a growing number of air traffic controllers working without pay have been calling out. So Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson is live at the airport this morning. Corey, we know PDX is on the list of airports facing cuts to flights.
That's right, China. PDX is included on that list. Now, federal officials announced the cuts Wednesday afternoon, saying that roughly 3,500 to 4,000 flights would be impacted daily as a result of those cuts. Now, the FAA has already been delaying flights at some airports because of the widespread staffing shortages. Beginning Friday, the Federal Aviation Administration will reduce air traffic by 10% at 40 busy airports, citing growing fatigue among air traffic controllers who have worked without pay since the government shutdown began on October 1st. Most have been on duty 6 days a week while putting in mandatory overtime. And as the shutdown continues, those staffers will miss their second full paycheck next Tuesday. Seattle, Tacoma, San Diego, and San Francisco International airports are also set to be impacted, along with some of the busiest airports in the country. But some travelers say they understand the predicament traffic controllers are in right now.
If I was an air traffic controller right now and I hadn't been paid in a month, I'd probably be looking for something else to do as well.
If I were employed as either of those, I probably wouldn't have a job because I probably wouldn't show up, because if I haven't been able to feed my family for over a month, then I need to find a job that I can work.
And many travelers are making their way through PDX this morning. We've spoken with several of them who have varying opinions on what's going on. Coming up, we hear more from those travelers about the impacts of the government shutdown on air traffic. Drew, China.
All right, Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson live for us this morning there at the airport. SNAP benefits also remain in limbo because of the shutdown, but lots of local businesses and community groups have stepped up to help.
Yeah, one group is trying to help out pet owners. Some bags of pet food cost up to $80. So to help those hurt by SNAP cuts, local artist Mike Bennett is holding a community event to paint the world's longest dachshund. He's partnering with Pat PDX and the Filling Station Pet Supplies next Tuesday, November 11th. Volunteers will paint a 130-foot dog around a building and parking lot by Bennett's studio while donating pet food for families in need.
They're going to feed their pet before they're going to feed themselves. And that's really sad, and especially if they're older or have children, and many of our folks do have kids.
And not being able to get what their dogs need, can be really, scary and frustrating.
The event will be held on Northeast Fremont on Veterans Day from 11 to 3 p.m. Those who donate will get a paintbrush and a sticker made by Bennett. We also remind you that if you are looking for help or know someone who is, we have a growing list of local organizations that have stepped up to donate, fundraise, and give out free meals. So just text the word SNAP to 503-226-5088, and we'll text you back with the link.
In an update this morning, the state of Oregon made its case to the U.S. Supreme Court yesterday in a huge test of President Trump's use of tariffs. The Solicitor General, arguing on behalf of the Trump administration, told the Supreme Court that the president has the authority to impose those tariffs as a way to conduct foreign affairs and negotiate trade deals. The administration says it's all allowed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. But Oregon and other states, along with a group of U.S. businesses, argue there is no emergency. They also argue that the tariffs hurt Americans because of the higher price tag put on imports, saying the tariffs really just amount to a huge tax and that only Congress is authorized to impose taxes, not the president.
I think the facts really speak for themselves, and I think this was compelling for the justices, where no other president had ever used this power to try and implement tariffs. Every other president had used the appropriate statutes that Congress intended. I think that weighed heavily.
Two lower courts have already ruled against the White House in this case. It's not clear, though, how long it will take the Supreme Court to reach its ruling. All right, new this morning, Portland police have identified the man who was found dead in downtown Portland early Sunday morning. The victim was identified as 20-year-old Taylor Ritter. The medical examiner says he died from a gunshot, and his death was ruled a homicide. The investigation into his death remains open. Portland police are asking anyone with information about this to give them a call.
All right, let's get you caught up on some other headlines this morning. In Hillsborough, authorities say two men were found dead yesterday morning inside a home. Neighbors told us that they heard what sounded like gunshots, then saw a SWAT team show up at the house near Northeast 17th and Sunrise Lane.
They went into the house and they were escorting a young girl and maybe a couple of kids down to the end of the street.
Hillsborough police are asking anyone with information to please reach out. On the coast, officials are warning people not to let their guard down with king tides over the next few days. At Canada Beach yesterday, firefighters were out telling people not to get too close to the surf or turn their back on the ocean.
It's not so much the surf that we're worried about on the outside. It's that when we get the big surf or the swell that's coupled with the king tides, those sneaker waves will surge all the way up.
Officials say to expect the strongest waves through the weekend, with the next round of king tides coming in December.
Rod, I know eventually we're going to get a break from some of this wet weather, but it's not coming today.
No, it still looks like that we're pretty active on the radar, including right now, as you can see behind me, all the way into tonight. And then during the day tomorrow, the showers slowly become fewer and fewer and eventually come to an end. So the dry weather is still set for Friday night and through your entire weekend. No lightning being detected right now, so thumbs up, good news on that. And for the time being, the heaviest rain, where you see the yellow colors, is off to the east, moving through the gorge. So you folks getting hammered pretty good. Good morning, moving out through the gorge. It's basically rain until you get up above Cascade Pass level. Timberline's picked up a couple inches of new snow. Here's Snoqualmie Casino Resort in Lincoln City. Still a lightning threat along the coast today, but the lightning threat is much less. So Wouldn't be surprised if we don't see any lightning, but still something to kind of, keep an eye and an ear open or out for. You can see the rain falling from the lights of Providence Park, 52 degrees. We're still in the same batch of mild air with temperatures generally 50 or better this morning. Breezes are from the south. And winds won't be as strong today, but still noticeably breezy at times with the rain waves coming through. 50 is your number out in Silverton. So all in all, we are preparing for another really wet day. Rain at times, breezy to windy at the coast. South winds gusting here probably no more than 40 miles per hour. We had some 50-mile-per-hour gusts yesterday. Really the high winds of the coast are primarily tied to thunderstorm activity up into Clatsop County and north up into Long Beach. This afternoon's map, no rain out in Burns. Baker City, most of your day is dry, but it will be wet in central Oregon today. You can see the temperatures well up into the 50s. Portland could hit 60. We hit 63 yesterday. Showers in tomorrow. There's the dry weekend. Saturday, 60. Sunday, 63. I say it again. There, right there, is your dry weekend. All right, here's Chris McGinnis.
Careful, don't break the monitor. All right, we do have some trouble in the Vista Ridge Tunnel again, eastbound Highway 26. Portland police now just showing up on this, what appears to be a 4-car fender bender. The eastbound left lane is blocked, and traffic now is lined up about a half a mile or so on the approach. This is, again, on the eastbound side of the freeway in the tunnel, and the traffic right now is backing up in the rain past the zoo. Guys, we'll keep you posted on this.
Thank you, Chris.